Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Did I say snow tonight? Yes, I did. That's the only reason why I'm on here. Just because I happened to actually look at some weather data for the first time since, Tuesday? And I was like, oh, it's going to snow tonight. I better say something. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Meteorologist Tuttle here. We were talking about a really quick live update because it's going to be a very short-term discussion. Not a whole lot to talk about, but it is going to be about that 4-letter word that some of you do like and some of you don't like. It's just the way it goes. Depends on what side of the fence you're on. Everybody's got to pick a team. Everybody's got to pick a side. So are you pro snow or are you against snow? That kind of a deal. All right, we'll see if it's going to be a big deal. We'll show you what the data looks like and all that kind of stuff. All right, so thanks for joining me. See you out there on YouTube. Get a little shout out here to you guys. Homesteading with a Purpose from Moore. Lisa Jones in the house from Mustang. Probably the neighbor to Jim down the street, who's usually in the house as well. Mr. AR15 and Blanchard's checking in. Aurora Girl 292. You were the first one. Is that what YouTube told you? Good to see you. Jackie's in the house from Tuttle, Oklahoma. Robin says hello. Denise says hello. Man, you guys just coming on in. I appreciate it. Also on Facebook, Josh in the house, Kimberly, Natalie, Janine, Michelle, Sharon, a couple of Sharons, Krista. Boy, this list goes on and on. Thanks you guys for tuning in. And already Lisa's throwing me some love with some stars. I appreciate that. Well, currently we've got a little bit of cloudiness out there in our view, as you've become accustomed to. I made a little joke about that earlier today and called us Seattle. So, the shoe fits, right? I am ready to kick Seattle to the curb. Are you ready to kick Seattle to the curb? I think we should do that all together in unison. Let's take a look, though. We've still got some temperatures out there into the 40s across the state. Are some 30s, though, up across the Panhandle area. So at least we're not freezing or below freezing. Could you imagine if we had this much precipitation with temperatures below freezing? Oh, my goodness. We'd be buried. We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. But you can see some light to moderate rainfall continues to move across the state, kind of spiraling around with an upper level low across the northwestern Texas area along the Red River Valley. You can see these heavier showers on the back end of it as a result. Otherwise, just another typical day in Seattle, Oklahoma. So this luckily is coming to an end. So this is the back end out here, the precipitation that'll be working its way slowly to the east tonight. So gradually, little by little, we're going to be bringing the rainfall to an end across Oklahoma. So if you've been wanting more rain, this is your last chance to get a taste of it, and then we're going to say goodbye to it for at least a little while. Denise, thank you for the stars out there this evening. You too, Shannon, appreciate it. I will keep up the good work as always. So here's a look at rainfall over the last 7 days. If you thought it rained heavy here, you should see these poor folks down here in Texas, man, from Austin south to San Antonio, right over Bryan College Station to Lufkin area. They saw some amounts up to 10 inches of rain. Woo! That is flooding type conditions down there in southeastern Texas. Big area of red, though, which is up to around 5 to 6 inches. It covers a large area of southeastern Texas and Louisiana. And you can see how that kind of starts to get heavy in the southeastern parts of Oklahoma until you get to the west side of the state. Here's a close-up view of our rainfall totals. And again, we'll have adding more to this tonight, but around 1 to 2 inches here in southern, east central Oklahoma. Then southeast, we're getting over the 2 to the 3 to the 4 inch mark by the time you get way down there in the south and east. Otherwise, up here the north and west, you guys didn't have a whole lot, depending on where you were, anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to maybe as much as a 1/2 inch there, parts of near Woodward. Okay, so that is a look at the rainfall. Like I said, we'll add a little bit more tonight because we do have an upper level low moving through. So this is what it looks like. I just did a snapshot here, but the center of it, this is going to be through tomorrow morning. So the center of the upper low is pretty much running right along the Red River. And if you remember in the past, sometimes when we talk about snow potential, we can look what kind of wraps around on the back end of the upper level low, and this kind of your sweet spot where you would look for snow to develop. So in the upper levels at 500 millibars, that is the overall general location we would look for some snow, because this is kind of it's a cold core driven system. In other words, the cold air comes down on the back end of the upper low as it moves overhead and off to the east. So we can look under that at the 700 millibar layer. All this red you see is lift in the mid levels of the atmosphere. You can see how it kind of rotates around. There's a lot of it here in central Oklahoma overnight to the midnight hours. And then here is the 3 to 4 o'clock frame. It's got a big batch here across the I-35 corridor between us and Tulsa. And this, from this period onward, and this little sweet spot right in here is where you're going to squeeze out a little bit of wet snow with the rain. It won't last long. Daybreak moves on out of here, and it's in Arkansas from mid-morning on Saturday onward. Now, if you notice, without the lift, you get no rain. So look at that. Bam! Finally. Woohoo! So by mid to late Saturday morning, we are clearing out quickly over the state of Oklahoma and saying goodbye. If you look at the 700 millibar level as far as the wind field goes, you will see a little bit of a circulation right here and right here. So this is our mini low, if you will, right about which is right over Oklahoma County. And that little axis from it extends kind of in between right up to Bartlesville. So that is our sweet spot of what you could call convergence at 700 millibars. And that is where we're going to see a little bit of that light snow flurry and maybe even a dusting click out of that. Now, it should melt pretty quickly because temperatures are going to be a little on the warm side. This is how it plays out. You're looking at the radar data from the animation on the model data. We'll step you through. So obviously here this evening, we've got the rainfall out there. Now, we go to 2 o'clock in the morning. And there's 3 o'clock. So that's when the models are trying to produce enough lift in that area with temperatures cold enough to cooling down from the mid-levels down to the surface to bring in that blue shading here over the Oklahoma City metro area on up to Stillwater, just on the east side there of Ponca City and out toward Bartlesville and just clipping northwestern Tulsa. So for example, if you were to plot just a forecast sounding here, it's right along the fence of that 0 degree line, and then it does get about a couple of degrees above freezing at the surface, about 35 degrees. So yes, it can snow when the temperatures at ground level are 35 degrees as long as it's cold enough above that layer, which, according to our short-term high-resolution data, it is just barely going to make the cusp and do it. So there you go. So what would happen in this particular case? There's, by the way, let me step through the rest of this. There's 6 o'clock in the morning. Again, same areas. There's 7 o'clock, so it's already out of Oklahoma City. So if you're an early bird, coffee drinker, you're probably going to see some white snowflakes coming down mixed in with some rain. Might even be some big flakes at that from Oklahoma City to Stillwater to Bartlesville, Osage, Pawnee County, and then up toward Tulsa even, probably north and west sides of town. May not make it through the whole county of Tulsa. You guys are right on the line. But there's 7 o'clock in the morning, and then it kind of just goes back over to a rain as temperatures start to warm up with the sun coming back out to offset any cooling you would have at night. And there's 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and this pretty much wraps up the rainfall for the state. So that's kind of the main thing I want to talk about. I'm going to look here at, did I get any data here for the short term? Because I did want to see this. So let me look at this real quick. Let's see, this is new. 6 p.m. Friday? It is. Okay. Let me see what it does in the NAM. Okay. All right. And then let me see what it does on this guy. So I'm going to show you something. All right, so we're going to have to go with the HER. Boy, the HER is going to be the one. All right, so this is like the vertical picture of it. If you notice, all this stuff right here is all rain. So it's all rain all night long, and then you get to this one little sweet spot of time, and this is where it indicates a little bit of snow. We got the snow growth layer right here, plenty of moisture. Still got a little bit of omega that overrides in this area. Not a lot, but a little. And that's what there is going to squeeze in just about an hour or two window to get a little bit of wet snowflakes mixed on in. And like I said, it'll melt pretty quick. It should just be a dusting at most. And mostly by the time you wake up, it's probably already gone. Now, let's talk about temperature. That's the second part of this story. And I do want to talk about this because we've had a lot of rain, right? So we've got wet roadways, and that's what I'm talking about. And you still might have a little bit of patchy fog behind it until winds kick up in the morning hours. So where you do see these little blue areas, especially in the valleys, that indicates where temperatures are probably going to get right about freezing. So 32 degrees or less in this area, maybe 31. So you might have some black ice. So the favorite area of black ice is kind of in this little spot here of Oklahoma. All right. That includes you guys up here in Kansas and maybe out here in the Panhandle. So just watch out for black ice when you hit the roadways out in this area for tomorrow morning, late tonight. All right, let's go zip through on our Saturday. Again, we get the clouds out of here slowly. The rain does end sooner. You can see a big difference in temperatures at 4 o'clock in the afternoon from east to west. You can kind of envision where the clouds have kind of slowed to clear, right? So obviously you have temperatures start struggling to recover to get to about 40 degrees if we're lucky in some areas. Otherwise, you got 50s out here in the western third of Oklahoma. So on Saturday, that's your pick of the litter. And then let's go on into Sunday. And this is where you got to watch again for any water spots on the roadways at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning when the temperatures get their coldest. Mostest in the valley areas, but you can see Oklahoma City, for example, it does say 32 degrees officially at the airport, and in Tulsa. Just be careful, any water on the roadways for black ice both mornings on Saturday and Sunday. But then after that, look what happens on Sunday. And this is what I'm talking about. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Still a little cooler out here in far eastern Oklahoma. Otherwise, the rest of the state looks great. Lots of mid-50s out there. Probably even some 60s sneaking in here across southwest and northwest Oklahoma up to the Panhandle. So that is some really good stuff. So that's what I'm going to show you. Just a little mini story here. So Gillian, no, the snow will not stick. The model data, believe it or not, has been trying to reduce as much as a half inch of snow in that little stretch from Oklahoma City up through Stillwater and Bartlesville. All right. But again, it's wet snow, and temperatures of the surface will be around 35, 36 degrees in many of these areas, so it should be melting pretty quick. Ground temperatures are still pretty cold, so maybe that'll help offset the fastness of the melting. So if you get lucky, you get up early, you might see something in that little thin band. Outside of that, the rest of us just going to get the rainfall that wraps up, by mid-morning across most of Oklahoma. And then just kind of watch out, like I said, for overnight, tonight, late tonight, northwest Oklahoma for some slick spots at roadways, and kind of hit and miss all over the state for Saturday night, Sunday morning with any water that has, of course, pooled or become stagnant on the roadways that just hasn't quite evaporated. And that's the kind of things you have to watch for. Otherwise, snow, not a big deal. It's not going to cause any problem. Just something, pretty to see if you're up that time of the night. Roughly, again, between 5 and 7 a.m., kind of a 2-hour window that stretches from around Oklahoma City up toward I-35 to Ponca City, eastbound to like Bartlesville, kind of north and west of Tulsa, almost like a little mini triangle. That would be your sweet spot for your best deformation zone from the way the upper level pattern is setting up. And cold temperatures just barely enough to produce it. I mean, just by the skin of the teeth. And if temperatures are off just by a hair, then it's just a cold rain. So that's it. So that's the alternative. And that's it, my friends. I have not looked at the extended, but I will. I didn't look at anything after Tuesday. I was exhausted. And then I will look at the long term to see what's coming our way down the road. And I'll do that in the form of a blog on Sunday afternoon. So I'll post that up so you can see that and check your forecast for the upcoming week. Are we done with winter? It's a question I've been getting forever. And now, man, we got all of February to go through. In February, we always get some cold spells in February. If winter's not over, and really that comes down sometimes linger into March. You get a couple of cold days in March. And the latest I've ever seen snow for me, I think was May 1st a few years ago. I may be dating myself, maybe more like 10 years ago. I can't remember how far back it was, but actually I had some snow in Edmond at that time. I took a picture of it and posted it. I remember that vividly because I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. Is this the end of the world? So, yeah, technically you can get snow all the way up through our spring season. But, of course, that's obviously a freak occurrence. But that is it for me, guys. As I told you to be a short live tonight. I do appreciate you stopping by, liking, sharing the video, telling your friends and family about ET's weather. Appreciate you newcomers that are here. Welcome to the most accurate forecast here across anywhere in the Southern Plains. I do my best to kind of give you the heads up that I can and make it as detailed as I can, as far out as possible. That way you can prepare accordingly. Otherwise, feel free to join any of my Facebook subscriptions or YouTube, various platforms that I'm in you can watch on. So you guys are welcome to join any of those. And with more information on my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com. You can track all this stuff. My free weather app, AT's Weather to Go. Just Google, or Google. I guess you could Google, but Apple and Google Play stores, the app stores, just look for AT's Weather or search my name. Either one of those should get you the right direction. And that is it. So thanks again for the stars tonight. I see you, Robert. Appreciate you. You too, Kathy and Ron. I see you in the house with your goat. Appreciate that. Denise as well. So you guys be good tonight. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.